Ciao, I'm Mary Ann Esposito. Today on Ciao Italia, classic dishes from Lombardia. Ciao, I'm Mary Ann Esposito. Welcome to Italy, and let's cook real Italian. Aren't they gorgeous? Swiss chard. I knew you said that. I'm in heaven. Think about how healthy this is. That's for you. Sundae sauce. All 20 regions of Italy are fabulous. And every time I do this, I think of my Nonna Galasso because she always made it this way. You want a Goldilocks dough, just right. Who doesn't like basil, especially in the summer? Obviously, you have to have pesto sauce at some point, right? I mean, I'm a cook. Why can't I try it? You're the best.
No, you're the best.
Lombardia. That brings back many, many memories because I've spent some time in Lombardia. If you know anything about that region, it's where Milan is, the fashion capital of Italy, the finance capital of Italy, and it's got great food too. But maybe some of you have been to Lake Como. Maybe you've been to Mantua. Maybe you've been to Cremona. Maybe you've seen the Last Supper at Santa Maria delle Grazie, which is in Milan by Leonardo da Vinci. But you know what? Lombardia also has great food, heavy, delicious food. And it's bordered by Switzerland, so you can imagine the influence that the Swiss have had on Lombardia cuisine. So today, we are going to borrow an idea from the classic recipe that you find in Lombardia, which defines it really, which is risotto. Everybody's had risotto, and maybe you've had the classic risotto alla Milanese, which starts out with rice, arborio rice, and onions, chicken broth, saffron to give it that beautiful yellow color. We're not doing that today because everybody knows about that. And if you want that recipe, you can go on the Ciao Italia website and get it. Today, we're going to make something a little different. We're going to make a tomato-based risotto with lots of different flavors. So let me show you how that goes. So we're going to start by using something called Speck Alto Adige, which comes from the Trentino region of Italy. It's not from Lombardia, but I'm borrowing the idea from another region. And what this is a cured ham. It is cured and smoked. And every producer that makes this has his or her own special recipe. But usually there's bay leaf and juniper and black pepper that goes into this. So this is an air-cured and a smoke-cured ham. And how do they eat it in the Trentino Alto Adige? Well, as an antipasto, of course, just like that, maybe cut in chunks, but here we have it in very thin slices. But today, I'm going to mince this and use it as a flavoring for the risotto. So when you buy it, you make sure that you get it like this so you're able to take it off the paper. So I'm going to take this whole section. You need about 1/4 of a cup of minced Speck Alto Adige. And this is just a new way to think about risotto because there are so many ways to make risotto that when I was thinking about this show, I thought, well, what can I show them that's a little different than the classic recipe, the risotto alla Milanese, which is fabulous in its own right, but I think you're going to enjoy this. So there is our Speck Alto Adige. Now we need rice, and we need the right kind of rice. So here we have arborio rice. Now, the reason that this is so popular in Lombardia is because of the Po River Valley Plain. So you have lots of rice paddies in that area. So it just stands to reason that this would be something that would be on their menus. So arborio rice is a semi-fino rice, and it's a very starchy rice, so it can absorb a lot of liquid. And the whole idea of making risotto is to add the liquid a little bit at a time. So we want about 1.5 cups of arborio rice, or you could use carnaroli or vialone nano, which are two other types of risotto rices. But we're going to use the arborio because that's easy to find in your grocery store. So after that, we need some tomato juice. See, I'm not using chicken broth. I'm using tomato juice. And all I have here are fresh squeezed tomatoes. I used cherry tomatoes, like this. And all I did was put them in my blender or in your food processor, or you can use an immersion blender. I zipped them up. I put them through a sieve, took out the seeds and the skins, and I'm left with tomato juice. It's going to give this a really deep flavor. And then we need onions, and today I'm using a red onion. Normally, we would use just a white onion to make a bionde type of risotto, a white risotto. That would be the classic version. But we're making a red version, a risotto rosso. And then we need cheese. And here we have a cheese that comes from a very different region. This is from the Veneto, from Asiago. And this is Asiago cheese. It's a cow's milk cheese. It comes from the town of Asiago. You'll know you're getting it by looking on the rind. And on the top, you'll see that DOP sign. DOP means that this cheese can only be produced in Asiago and in the regions around Asiago that are designated by a consortium. So it has to meet certain criteria. Okay, so we have that. So we have cheese, onions, we have tomato juice, we have the rice, we have the speck Alto Adige, we have olive oil, and we need red wine. That's all we need. So first I'm going to grate up some cheese here, and this we're going to add to the risotto at the end. So you want about, a half a cup or so. Okay, that looks like about a half a cup, so I'm going to set that aside. And just keep this over to the side for now. Okay, so what are we going to do first? Well, first we're going to cook this speck Alto Adige, so we want to put a little bit of olive oil in a pan. You want to use kind of a heavy-duty pan for this. And put the speck in, speck Alto Adige. And we want to cook that. Just get it so it starts to get a little bit crispy. So this is starting to smell really good. And as you know, risotto is always a first course. So I'm going with the Lombardia theme today, but I'm a little bit on the edge with what I'm doing. So this is going to be our first course. And I'm sure you know that risotto often goes with a veal cutlet. So maybe we're going to be doing that next. All right, that looks good. That looks good. So now I'm going to take that out. So it's just got a little bit of color on it now. We don't want to burn it. The rice, about 1.5 cups. We add the onion, that goes in. And now we stir this around. And really what you want to do is kind of coat the rice in the olive oil. You want to be able to keep the grains separate so that this, in the end, does not turn out to be a clump of rice, but is fluid. And the Venetians have a saying for that. I think I've told you this before. They say that the rice needs to be a onda, on the wave. So that means that it needs to be flowing. It needs to be creamy. It needs not to be clumpy. Once all these rice kernels are coated and you start to hear a little bit of a crackling sound, crack, crack like popcorn, you know that then it's time to add the liquid in small increments. So you add, about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of wine, and you mix it around into the rice until you see that the bottom of the pan is dry, when you can just make a trough kind of in the bottom of the pan and you see that there's no more liquid there. That's the time to add the next addition of wine. So this process takes a good 20 minutes. And I know that there are people who say, well, you can just add all of the liquid at once and let the rice go by itself. Some people do cook risotto that way, but that's not the classic way to do it. The classic way to do it is to have patience, to stand here and to think about the rice, where the rice is coming from, why it's going to be so delicious, why you're making it in the first place. That's my mantra. So that was the second edition of red wine. And now I think you can start to think about how deep a flavor this is going to have. Red wine and tomatoes, speck Alto Adige, onions and cheese. What could be bad? Again, we start adding the juice a little bit at a time and allow that rice to absorb it. I think fresh squeezed tomatoes are better because, of course, you know, the flavor is better. So anyway, so we're going to let this cook, and you can see from what I'm doing now how this is increasing in volume. This is going to be enough to serve 4 to 6 people, easy. So the rice is absorbing the liquid and it's getting creamier. It's letting out all of its starch, and that's what's going to create that creaminess that is what risotto is known for. So now what we need to do is put back the speck Alto Adige, goes in, and the Asiago cheese that we grated. So we've gone cross regions today, from Lombardia to the Veneto to the Trentino Alto Adige, to make this delicious risotto. And we need to add, you know, just a smidge of salt. So there's a little smidge of salt. And when risotto is ready like this, you need to eat it. Okay, so here is a serving dish. Turn this off. And let me get a big spoon. Take this over to show you how flowy that rice is. Isn't it beautiful? Look at that color. Gorgeous. And you can see with 1.5 cups of rice that we started with, we have enough rice to serve at least 6 people. And remember, this is a first course, and I would serve it in a bowl. So, there it is. A new take on risotto coming from the region of Lombardia. If you were in Lombardia and if you were going to a restaurant, you must order this dish. And it is cotoletta alla Milanese, which is a veal cutlet that is simply breaded and fried in butter. Served with lemon wedges. Sometimes there's a little salad on the side. But it's important that you get the right cut of veal. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do this with veal. If you don't want to do it with veal, you could do it with chicken or turkey. But classically, it is veal. And so you need veal that's cut from the top round, not the leg, the top round, which gives you a very tender cut of veal. And here we have the veal cutlets that have been pounded down with a meat pounder to make them thin. In fact, some places in Lombardia, in Milan in particular, serve these veal cutlets flattened so big that they cover a dinner plate. And then they're called elephant ears. But we're not going to do that today. So we have our veal, the right cut of veal. And first we have to make clarified butter, because traditionally this is how this is cooked. So to do that, you need some butter. So here we have 2 sticks of butter, And you want to start in a pan on low heat. You really don't want to brown the butter. So I'm going to be very careful about this and put 2 sticks into a pan over low heat and let that melt. I'm going to let that melt because what I want to do here is take off the milk solids, the white stuff that occurs over the top. So you want a clarified, really clear looking butter. So you notice I lifted that pan off the burner because, as I say, I don't want brown butter. I just want blonde looking butter. And if you look there, you can see how the foamy stuff, the milk solids, are starting to separate. And we want to put this melted butter then through some cheesecloth to capture those milk solids. Or once the butter is all melted, you could use a skimmer to take off the milk solids. And what the cheesecloth does is collect the rest of that. Now you have beautiful looking butter. Butter, butter, butter. I know what some of you are saying. This sounds like Wiener Schnitzel. Well, yes, it does, because if you talk to the Italians, especially in Lombardia, they'll tell you, well, they invented the dish. And if you talk to the Austrians, they'll say, well, they stole the dish from us. It doesn't matter. It all tastes delicious. We can share. So here are 2 egg yolks. And I'm going to add just a little salt to that. Just a little salt. And a little pepper. Okay. And then what you want to have are some breadcrumbs. Here we have fresh breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs from a box are not going to do it. So you take your veal slices and you coat them in the butter. I mean in the egg yolks. So really turn them around, get them well coated. Coating them on both sides. Really pat it down. Make sure you give it a good coating. This is just a wonderful classic dish with using just few ingredients, but the quality of the ingredients are super. And that's the whole point of Italian regional cooking, is to use quality ingredients and keep the treatment simple. Only 2 will fit in the pan. And now you wait. Here's the last one. Next up, cake. Okay, we have veal cutlets. We have risotto. And now we're going to make a cake. And this cake is called dolce varese or amor polenta. And to do it, you need to butter and lightly flour or cornmeal a mold. Now you can use any kind of a mold, but this is the typical mold that's used. It's a ridged mold like this. You can find it in bakeware shops. You can go online and find it. It's often referred to as a Moravian pan, so you can look for Moravian pan. So you really want to butter it well because you want that cake to come out. And then what I do, this is not necessary, but I like to do it, I put a little bit of cornmeal. Gives a little added insurance that that cake is going to come out. And I just go around the pan like that, shake out the excess, and set it aside. So, how does this cake go together? Well, we want to start out with some butter, so a stick of butter, and about a half a cup of sugar. So get a half a cup of sugar in your bowl, and then you just want to cream this. You'll know it's good when the butter starts to change color and it looks light colored to you. Okay, that's good. Now we need to add 2 eggs. So you want to put the eggs in one at a time. Did I tell you to preheat your oven? You got to have your oven on right now. 350 degrees. So get each egg in. So there's our first egg, and then we're going to add our dry ingredients to these wet ingredients. But I like to add a little bit of flavoring to this that isn't really traditional. A lot of people like to put rum in it, or you could put vanilla, but I like to put vanilla bean. So I have vanilla bean already out of the pod. So I just take a little smidge. See that? That's all you need. That's the seeds from the vanilla bean pod. And you can buy that in your grocery store or in a cook store or in a online. So I mix in the vanilla bean just to give that a little extra flavor. And now we want to add our dry ingredients, which are these right here. We have 3/4 of a cup of cornmeal, just yellow cornmeal. You want fine grind cornmeal. You could make this with stone ground. Texture is going to be a little coarser. We have 3/4 of a cup of ground almonds, and we have 3/4 of a cup of unbleached all-purpose flour. That's the trinity of the flours that go into this cake. And you just mix that around. This is really easy. Mix that around until it's well blended. You want to give it a little bit of salt. There's some salt. And about 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder goes in. So all that gets mixed together, and this goes into your wet ingredients. So in it goes. All right, that's looking good. Okay, and put it right in there. Now, if you didn't have this kind of a pan, you could do this just in a cake pan, a regular cake pan. But I think it looks very attractive in this Moravian pan, or as it's called in Lombardia, the Dolce Varese or the Amor Polenta Cake. It's ready for the oven. Timer, 30 minutes. And then we'll check it. Today we took a little culinary tour of the region of Lombardia in northwest Italy. And we started with the first course, risotto. But this is a little variation on the classic risotto alla Milanese. And then for our second course, we did make the classic veal cutlet alla Milanese style. Remember, we put that in egg yolk, we breaded it, and we cooked it in clarified butter. And for dessert, of course, a polenta cake, sometimes called Amor Polenta. And here it is, all ready for the serving with delicious strawberries and syrup and mascarpone cheese. And until I see you nella cucina again, I'm Mary Ann Esposito. Ciao!